Welcome to week 8. We have just completed your interviews with an entrepreneur, and that was a good assignment to give you a sense of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Remember, this entrepreneurship class is teaching you business management skills, and every business out there started with an entrepreneur. So getting an opportunity to speak with somebody who's actually done it is really useful for your professional career if you're going to be an entrepreneur or not. This class is focused on entrepreneurship because there's unique things that you need to do as an entrepreneur that you don't need to do as a business manager, but you can't really understand how to do them well as a business manager unless you understand entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. That's why we're going through a lot of these exercises. And then we started with your social media posts, which are well on their way. This was just kind of an introduction to get you ready for social media. We're going to implement a social media strategy next week, but that brings us to week 8. Your SMART goals. I recommend that you do your SMART goals first. The video on your SMART goals is excellent. And you're going to start setting a sales goal. So if you want to be an entrepreneur or not, you still want to try and sell some items. You're going to sell it probably through social media, or it's going to be a family member or a friend or somebody who's interested. So you want to start thinking of what is your goal. So every business has to have sales. No sales, no business. That's the brass tacks of it. So when you start to set a sales goal, it may be a little nerve-wracking, or you may be concerned, like, how am I going to sell something? That's the question every business leader needs to answer for the rest of their life. How am I going to sell something? If you don't understand that, you don't understand business. And if you've never had to do it, you don't really know what it's like to run a business. So even on this small scale, even if you just want to sell a few, one or two. Now, I don't want to sell some of you short. Some of you are going to sell a lot. Some of you may sell many more than that. But I want you to get used to the idea, how would I sell a couple of these? Who would I sell them to? Once you get that feeling, that even uneasy feeling, like, how am I going to do this? That's right. Now you're understanding more about what business is. That's your SMART goal. The video is great. In the S part, the specifics, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. The measurable part is the most important because how many are you going to sell? Also, what's the dollar amount? You're going to try and move product. You have till the end of July to do this. So you actually have about a month to get this done. And so it should be kind of fun because it's not like you need to sell a million, but you should start selling some. And once you start selling some online, it's just the most addictive thing ever. It's so much fun because you're like, wow, something in my head put money in my bank account. It's the coolest, all right? So you want to think about it in terms of it kind of being fun also. So in that video, you're going to have the 5 W's in the SMART. So the SMART goal, just in a Word document, just write SMART down the side and then just fill that in. And that's what you're going to post. So remember, once you post something, you can always repost it. If you see somebody else have a really good SMART goal, great, do it like theirs. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're learning how to do this. The second thing, your advisory board, you're going to have 5 people for advisory board. It's going to be probably people you know. You're going to probably know them pretty well and said, hey, blame it on me. I got this instructor who wants me to put together a business. We need to have a meeting. Would you help me out and have a meeting? Okay. So it might be mom, dad, brother, sister, relatives, people, best friends. They can be on your advisory board. People know a lot about business. Everybody knows a lot about business. And if you ask people for advice, they'll be happy to give you advice. And then you're going to have to use a Google Doc. So a Google Doc, you should already have your Gmail email. So a Google Doc is a cool way to have meetings because in the bad old days, you'd actually get people around a table and you'd have this meeting. Now with that Google Doc, you can invite them and said, hey, would you answer some of these questions? And the questions that you have come right out of page 59, and those are your meeting objectives. What do you want to accomplish? Your question is, what should I do with product design? Again, I'm on page 56. What kind of social media marketing should I do? What kind of advertising should I do? Who should my target market be? Should it be men or women? What's their age group? What's their income level? A pivot is, how should I adjust? So on number 2 on page 56, that's where you're going to get all your questions to ask your advisory board. And it can be kind of casual, but you're going to use Google Docs because Google Docs are cool. And once you have your, let's say, 5 questions, you can share that doc with somebody. Let's say it's your older brother who's been in business. You share it with him and said, would you answer these 5 questions for me? You're going to send it to the other 4 members, a total of 5 on your advisory board, and they're going to start answering these questions to help you grow your business. What you're learning is how to conduct an online meeting. I do these several times a month. I have one of these, when we're in the school year with up to 20 participants, and I have this agenda. I use the exact same agenda. I send out the information. I send out all my questions, and the new business is where I record the information, and I do it through Microsoft products. So it's not Word, but it's a collaboration space, same difference. And then people write, and that's how you have a modern meeting. So that way you don't have everybody live, but they all get the same questions and they all get to see what everybody else writes. And that's kind of useful for them because they'll find this very interesting to figure out how other people are giving you advice how to grow. And they'll say, oh, somebody gave you that advice. I don't need to give that advice. I'll give different advice. So with your Gmail email, you can have a doc and you can share it with those 5 individuals as long as you have their email address. And that's easy. You probably already have their email address. That's how well you should know them. Maybe the entrepreneur you interviewed, maybe that's also a relative, they can be on it. And so this is an example of how to use other people's intelligence to help you grow your business. And then the first part is you're going to have that SMART goal. How am I going to sell these? If you don't know, simply ask your advisory board. See, they go hand in glove. And look at what you're learning. It's new technology. It will be a little bit challenging, but that's something you should be used to at this point. But it's very useful to learn how to do these things. So this week, it's smarter goals and advisory board. Last time you had an entrepreneur and you did some social media. We're gonna leave the social media on hold till next week because your SMART goals and your advisory board are gonna help you give you strategies to execute your social media next week. All right, so we're on track. We're doing well, and we're getting to the end of this, and you're really getting your feet underneath you at this point. So it's looking good. All right, talk to you next time. Bye.